Title: When Love Walks Away Part 2. Written by Elroi. Novel Library. I didn't notice her at first. To be honest, I wasn't noticing anything or anyone those days. I was numb, just floating through the days with heavy shoulders and an even heavier heart. I was surviving, not living. My trust was in pieces, and I had sworn to myself never to fall again. Love, to me, had become a wound that wouldn't stop bleeding. But she didn't come into my life like a spark or a storm. She came in like dawn. Quiet, gentle, unassuming. She didn't try to fix me, God, no. She just showed up. Again and again. Softly, patiently. It started with short conversations, simple check-ins, little jokes, subtle kindness. The kind of kindness that asks for nothing in return. And maybe that's why I started to feel something. She never asked why I was withdrawn. She didn't demand answers. But somehow she understood. She'd sit beside me in silence like she knew that sometimes silence was all I had left. And in that silence, she built a bridge. Not one of words, but of presence. She didn't heal me. No. What she did was even more powerful. She reminded me I could heal myself. One day, I laughed. I didn't mean to. She said something ridiculous, and I chuckled, barely, but enough to surprise us both. She smiled and didn't say a word, but her eyes lit up like she'd just won a battle no one else knew was happening. That laugh was my first step back to me. Bit by bit, I started to come alive again, not because she pulled me out, but because she gave me space to rise at my own pace. No pressure. Just patience. She didn't make me forget the past. She helped me forgive it. And that's when I realized. Sometimes, healing doesn't look like grand gestures or poetic confessions. Sometimes, it looks like someone quietly holding space for you until you remember how to hold space for yourself. And in that quiet space, I found something I never expected to feel again. Hope. We didn't fall in love in a rush. No sparks flying. No violins. It was steady. It was honest. It was everything I didn't know I needed. She became a mirror, not the kind that reflected who I was, but who I could become. She believed in me when I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I remember the day I opened up to her fully. We were sitting on the balcony of her small apartment, watching the sunset dip behind the rooftops. I told her everything. The betrayal, the loneliness, the shame I carried for not seeing it coming, for loving someone who never truly loved me back. She didn't flinch. She didn't offer cliches. She just listened and cried with me. Then she said something I'll never forget. You were never weak for loving her. You were strong for surviving her. That was the night I realized I wasn't in recovery anymore. I was rebuilding. And this time, I wasn't alone. We started dreaming together. Small dreams at first, learning new skills, starting a side business, reading books to each other at night. She pushed me to apply for things I thought I wasn't good enough for. She introduced me to her world, and slowly, I invited her into mine. I started to laugh more, smile more, live more. We weren't perfect. We had our disagreements, our tired days, our moments of doubt. But every time I looked at her, I saw the kind of loyalty people write novels about, the kind that doesn't fade when things get hard. She made me believe in love again. Not the fantasy kind. The real kind. The kind that stays. She helped me rise, not just to where I was before, but far beyond it. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was trying to prove my worth to someone. I felt wanted. I felt home. It was a quiet Sunday when I got the message. A name I hadn't seen in over a year. Her. At first, I froze. My chest tightened, not with longing, but with a chill. It simply read, "Hey, I've been thinking about you. Can we talk?" I showed my woman the message. She looked at me, calm, trusting, and said, "You don't owe her anything, but if you need to talk to her for closure, I trust you." That's when I realized this was what love was supposed to feel like. Safe, secure, unafraid. I met my ex at a coffee shop downtown. She looked different. Not physically, but empty. Her smile was forced, her eyes tired, and her voice full of regret masked with pride. She said the guy she left me for didn't stay, that he used her, broke her spirit, and disappeared. She talked about how good I was to her, how she missed me, how she thought we could start over. I let her talk. And when she was done, I looked at her, not with hate, but with clarity. "You didn't break me," I said. "You just taught me who not to become. And for that, I'm grateful." She blinked, stunned. I've healed. I've grown. And I've found someone who saw me when I was invisible. Someone who stayed when I had nothing. I won't disrespect her, or myself, by reopening what you closed. Her eyes welled up. She whispered, "You've changed." "No," I said gently, "I just finally became who I was meant to be, after you left." I stood, paid for the coffee, and walked away. Not with pride, not with revenge, but with peace. When I got home, my woman was in the kitchen, humming to herself, wearing one of my oversized tees. I wrapped my arms around her and whispered, "Thank you for being my blessing after the storm." She smiled and said, "No, thank you for choosing to love again." And in that moment, I knew. Some endings aren't tragedies. They're the beginning of something real.